On this episode of In the Fight, NATO allies build working relationships during exercise Agile Spirit. Army Special Forces members train for underwater operations. Air Force cadets learn how to combat cyber attacks. We learn what it takes to be a Marine Scout swimmer. And airmen give much-needed support to a local community in Latvia. In order to build working relationships before actual combat is warranted, NATO allies and partners in the Black Sea region are training together during Exercise Agile Spirit 2015. Army Sergeant Ricky Bowden files this report.
Roger! Hey, we're on! Go five! Go five! Go five! Go!
300 Marines and sailors from the Marine Forces Europe and Africa, the Black Sea Rotational Force, and the 10th Regimental Headquarters worked alongside more than 700 service members from the Georgian, Bulgarian, Romanian, Latvian, and Lithuanian Armed Forces as a part of Exercise Agile Spirit 2015. Lieutenant Colonel Mark D. McCarroll explains the objective of an exercise like this.
So Agile Spirit 15 is an exercise that's designed with our NATO allies as well as our Georgian partners to exercise interoperability both at the brigade or special purpose MAGTF level, as well as opportunity for a lower level tactical engagement with our allies and partners down to the squad level in a live fire scenario.
I'm talking about the Ridge pass first platoon break.
With interoperability and teamwork among NATO allies and partners being a major theme at this exercise, Lieutenant Colonel McCarroll talks about the importance of working together.
It's important that we work together early and often so that where we get to a point where there is a conflict or a crisis in the Black Sea region, that when we come together as part of a NATO response force or a coalition, that we do have working relationships. And those are probably the most important thing. Systems will kind of work themselves out, but relationships and knowing how each other work and operate so that when we come together as a team, we really are able to work together.
From the Vaziani training area in Tbilisi, Georgia, I am Army Sergeant Ricky Bowden.
Key West may be a tourist destination for some, but it's a training destination for others. Navy Petty Officer 2nd Class Glenn Slaughter shows us how an intense 6-week underwater operations class churns out Special Forces combat divers.
Key West is one of the hottest tourist destinations on the planet. Duval Street is where everyone goes, but most don't realize that several miles away is an entirely different world. These students are here for the Combat Diver Qualification course. The class is made of Green Berets, Rangers, and even West Point cadets. And under the water, there's no room for error.
The students, when they first come here and they first show up to the course, they're treated, or they're very much micromanaged. Every little thing they do is dictated. Every little mistake they make is corrected.
The instructors are everywhere. They see everything.
Student, the first step of your de-rigging procedure is once you're online, you're going to secure your anchor point.
I had an extensive background in free diving, growing up on the water, but I knew nothing about combat diving.
Previous experience in the water doesn't always help.
The most challenging obstacle that I faced since starting the course was the one-man confidence exam.
Students must recover after having their ability to see and breathe ripped from them.
That's one of the most stressful days I've had at this course. So leading up to that was very, very hard on me.
Not everyone will make it through this portion, but those that do say the same thing.
You have to remain calm, and I think that's the biggest goal here for us as students, is to learn how to remain calm under situations that you don't think you're going to make it out of.
The ring of this bell signals he's ready to go home.
Every attempt to train, teach, coach, mentor is made. They'll get extra training, anything to help them stay on track, but if somebody washes out, it's because he quit, like on himself, and there's not a lot you can do about that. He's probably already made his mind up.
It takes a special Green Beret to want to become a combat diver. It requires a self-starter, somebody who wants to accept the challenge of this course. It's a very difficult and challenging course, but one with proper training and preparation, that Green Beret or Ranger will succeed here.
From Naval Air Station Trumbo Point, I'm Petty Officer Glenn Slaughter.
Exercise Talisman Sabre is designed to improve U.S. and Australian combat readiness and interoperability. Marine Lance Corporal Mandolin Hatch shows us how these combined forces are learning to fight together, from the air to the trenches.
So today my company executed an aerial assault course. It was a combined arms exercise where we lifted in via CH-53, simulated from a long distance, and this was an excellent capstone exercise to demonstrate our capabilities that we've been working towards our entire time here in Australia.
We've had Australian Defense Force artillery support the attack, along with United States Marine Corps artillery support those attacks. They set the conditions by suppressing objective, allowing United States Marine Corps helicopters to fly in the zone, ADF and Marines landing 1,000 meters away from those artillery impacts. Once off the zone, fixed-wing aircraft flying in over 500 kilometers from naval shipping attack the objective as we continue to assault with the ground forces, closing on those fires of 81mm mortars and 60mm mortars, finally getting direct fires on the objective.
Today was a perfect example of the MAGTAF. It was working with air, with the MEU, also from the logistics point, and then the ground element, obviously my company coming in and executing a live fire combined arms closure and attack.
Bravo, go! Talisman Sabre has offered a great opportunity for us to partner with our Australian Defence Force brothers. This partnership has allowed us to learn a great amount from the Australian Defence Force. They're truly masters of the terrain and masters of small unit tactics. And as we've partnered together, we've offered them what capabilities we have as a Marine Air Ground Task Force, being able to provide some assets that they don't normally get to use here in the Northern Territories in their exercise.
Hi, my name is Specialist Justin Villarante with the 222nd Broadcast Operations Detachment. I'm from Los Angeles, California, and I would like to give a shout out to my father, Ray Villarante, a Desert Storm veteran.
I want to say hello to my son Sebastian in Charleston, New Jersey, all the way from Kabul, Afghanistan. Just want to say hello, thanks, I love you, I miss you. And to my wife, miss you a lot, I'll see you soon.
Coming up, a Marine weapons company learns how to fire mortars. And airmen learn to combat cyber threats. Check out DivotsHub.net for the latest accurate and reliable information as In the Fight continues. The modern portable mortar tube was introduced during which war? The answer when we return.
Five oceans. Seven continents. Whatever it takes. Wherever it takes us. America's Navy. A global force for good.
modern portable mortar tube was introduced during which war? The answer is B, World War I. Mortar tubes are still a valuable tool for providing cover fire and taking out indirect targets. Marine Corporal Preston McDonald visited Camp Lejeune, where a Marine weapons company is learning to use mortars effectively, and files this report.
We got to go out there and find a position and occupy it to support the rest of the battalion. And this right here shows us the baseline and like what we have to do to get that done.
We're getting a fire mission when we're rolling in vehicles. Okay. Once we get that fire mission, we're doing up as much data as we can. Once we get that data, the section leader is going to find a good position to shoot in that direction. Because when you're trying to find a direction, you have to take into account of overhead clearance. Like if you're in a tree line, you have to find a little bit of an open area so you can actually shoot the mission. So it's quick, you're posting security, you're getting your guns up, you're getting your FTC going, you're shooting your first adjusting round. Once your adjusting round hits, you get a correction, it's pretty much going to be a fireproof effect. And then once you shoot, they don't need you anymore, you're back on the road.
It helps out the Marine Corps because it gives the Marine Corps better Marines for the future. The training that we do is for the future of the Marine Corps. Some people aren't going to stay in, and when the squad leaders and the senior guys, when they leave, they need these new guys to come in and step up and be able to know what to do and when to do it.
Businesses and governments are continuously threatened by hackers looking to steal sensitive information. 88th Air Base Wing correspondent James Truitt shows us how the Air Force is training future leaders to combat these cyber threats.
These cadets are attempting to take over and exploit computers across a network. They are hacking into vulnerable systems. By the way, it's a closed network, and it's all part of 2015 HackFest. The Advanced Cyber Education Program is a 4-week course held at the Air Force Institute of Technology on Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Here, Academy and Reserve Officer Training Corps cadets learn the discipline of cybersecurity, where they'll develop skills such as attacking and defending networks and how to reverse engineer software.
Coming to the program, it's pretty amazing what skilled hackers are able to do to our infrastructure and system. And if they're malicious hackers, they can do serious damage, which is why programs like this are so important.
HackFest is the class capstone. The cadets are placed in teams and pit against each other, testing what they've learned, and in some cases, fighting over control of the same computer.
Some of the boxes, more than one student is in that box at the same time, and so they're fighting with each other inside the computer for control of that box. It's the closest thing we have to cyber warfare or hand-to-hand cyber combat in our environment.
And while there's an opportunity to earn points and get noticed on the scoreboard,
the main goal is for them to get the cyber education. That's the real purpose of this course. It's to get them in at the basic understanding of what is cyberspace, why are we here, what are we talking about, and to leverage that capability into the future.
From Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, I'm James Truitt.
In order to keep all Army components, whether active or reserve, up to date and as strong as possible, it's important to keep them working and training together. This total force policy is on display at this year's Exportable Combat Training Capability exercise. Army Sergeant Tim Morgan brings us this story.
The Army's total force policy requires synchronization between the active Army and its reserve components. This ensures Army commitments worldwide are met to the same standard. The policy has led to partnership opportunities such as the Exportable Combat Training Capability Exercise, or XCTC.
The mission for the XCTC program is to provide a world-class training event for brigade combat teams focused at the platoon level to maintain that proficiency and that warfighting capability. And the real value is you can't get this type of training without having the augmentation of an XCTC or one of the training centers, NTC or JRTC.
The XCTC brings the Mississippi National Guard's 155th Armored Brigade Combat Team, components of 2nd and 3rd Brigade, 1st Cavalry Division, 1st Army, and other support elements to Camp Shelby, Mississippi. The partner training event builds and maintains lasting cohesion across the Army spectrum.
We keep up the relationships that the National Guard and the active component had during the last 13 years of war.
and we don't lose that capacity and capability that we built together as one total force. My non-commissioned officers have been planning this exercise for the last year. These relationships go deep. It's numerous phone calls, it's numerous meetings, and it's the active component in the National Guard really using relationships to build a stronger exercise.
It is not a two-way street, it's a three-way street based upon the Army's total force policy and 1st Army's mission set.
The actual relationship and what we're getting out of these partnership, which is directed by FORSCOM under the Army Total Force Policy, has actually been priceless.
Approximately 4,600 soldiers participate in a joint event, with the majority being the 155th. Elements of 3-1 CAV are acting as an opposition force while training on their mission essential tasks. Elements of the Army Reserve are serving as enabler units, filling critical roles in transportation and logistics.
No individual in our profession is ever successful by themselves. It is always a team effort, and in this mission set, that team just grew a little bit more. Your internal team and your partnership team, you got to look at them all the same.
A scout swimmer is a Marine who clears a beach landing site ahead of a full raiding force to ensure it is safe to come ashore. Marine Private First Class Takun Norrising takes us to Okinawa and finds out what it takes to be a scout swimmer.
Scout swimmer is a Marine that's trained to be in support of a boat company. They're trained to secure the BLS. Whenever they do a company boat raid, they can also be utilized as a reconnaissance team or a small assault element. We have with some students that attend, they've never finned before, so when they come here, it's a shock to them.
The Basic Scout Swimmer course is a 3-week-long course which consists of grueling conditioning and intense simulations. The first week, students spend most of their time at the pool, but then they hit the beach.
Yeah, we got to the shore. Once we got to the shore, found a good security position to take up. I was on the left flank with my buddy. One holds security while the other sugar cookies himself, and that's just throw sand to take off the shine of everything. It is awful to have sand just rubbed in everywhere, but one of the necessary evils, I guess.
During this course, students are dropped at a set distance from the shore and must successfully conduct a clandestine landing and withdrawal.
We rowed out in 3-man boat teams out to the BLS, and when we got there, we conducted what we would as scout swimmers, a mock raid. So got dropped off by the Zodiacs, or the Cricks, and then we swooped in roughly about 300 to 400 meters, and then we proceeded to make sure the beach is secure for the landing crew.
In order to enter the course, students go through a screening process to ensure they are proficient swimmers. Reporting from White Beach Naval Facility, Japan, I'm Marine Private First Class Takun Norrising.
Hi, I'm Lieutenant Commander Anthony Bianco from Resolute Headquarters here in Kabul, Afghanistan. So I want to give a shout out to my wife and kids, Isabella and Anthony, in Jersey City, New Jersey.
Hi, I'm Major James Prendergast. I'm the Operations Officer for 367th Engineer Battalion here at Task Force North Star in El Salvador. I want to say a big shout out to my girls, Iona and Calista, and my wife, Julie. I miss you a lot. See you in a couple weeks.
Coming up, Air Force firemen helped contain a 70,000-acre wildfire. And we'll showcase some of the best photos from our service members, as In the Fight, presented by Divids, continues. What percentage of wildfires are started by humans? The answer when we return.
I want to give a shout out to my family and friends.
I want to send a shout out to my husband,
to my parents, my family back home.
I'd like to give a shout out to my girlfriend.
To my family and friends in Lansing, Michigan.
To my family out in Tucson, Arizona.
To my beautiful wife and children in Des Moines, Iowa.
To everybody in Texas.
In York, Pennsylvania.
Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Chicago, Illinois.
Harrisonburg, Virginia.
Orlando, Florida. Oceanside, California.
And Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
I love you guys. I miss you. And I hope I'll see you soon.
From combat-related stress to the day-to-day stressors of life.
This package is going to be completed.
This is the 4th time this week.
Stress can affect every Marine and Marine family. The De-Stress Line provides anonymous counseling for Marines and Marine families when it's needed most. If you're feeling the effects of stress, call today and let us help you win your personal battles.
The environment is my passion. Every day, I live for the outdoors and all of its challenges. That's why I enlisted in the Coast Guard. Now, I serve to protect the environment and defend my country. It's like I was born for this.
Were you born ready for a greater challenge? Find out at GoCoastGuard.com.
What percentage of wildfires are started by humans? The answer is D, 90%. Local fire departments often assist Beale Air Force Base with controlled burns and on-base fire containment. So when a wildfire threatening 70,000 acres broke out in nearby counties, Beale's firemen were happy to return the favor. Air Force Tech Sergeant Tony Plyler takes us to the aftermath of the Rocky Fire.
Thanks to Beale's 4-year drought, wildfires are not an uncommon occurrence for firefighters in the state. But the Rocky Fire, which started on July 29th, has burned roughly 70,000 acres and brought more than 3,500 fire personnel together to battle the blaze. Among them, firefighters from Beale Air Force Base in Northern California, who were assigned to a 17-person strike team from Yuba County.
This system that California uses is very unique, so that, where all these resources come from all over the state to help combat these fires. There's even stuff from other states participating in this, along with other DoD agencies.
On their first day of battling the Rocky Fire, they experienced flame lengths of over 100 feet directly in front of them. Since then, they've also been engaged in a great deal of indirect attack by conducting what's known as mop-up. This requires that they remove any debris that is smoldering or has the potential to catch fire.
It's critical that we get this area contained and get a line around it due to the fact that there's multiple drainages and ridges out beyond us in this valley. If one of these embers or a hot spot gets below us, it can ignite the fire again and we can actually get a larger fire. So it's critical we contain this line here to this black area up I see behind me and in this general area itself.
These experiences not only help a firefighter to grow as a professional, but they also help the base as well.
We need to fill out what are called task books. We can't meet the requirements inside the task book on base alone. We have to take assignments like these to complete the task book. So the training that we're getting on here is essential to furthering and completing the mission at Beale Air Force Base.
Outside of the Rocky Fire, the 17-person strike team also helped contain the Rag Fire in Napa County that burned more than 8,000 acres.
For us to jump into that teamwork shows that, we're capable, we're a full-on fire department that knows what they're doing, so we can help out the community just as much as the surrounding areas.
I was extremely excited to come out and be a part of this strike team and help the community fight this fire. I hadn't been to anything at this magnitude yet, so it was really exciting to come out and be able to see how everything operates and be a part of the solution.
From Lakeport, California, I'm Tech Sergeant Tony Plyler.
U.S. forces have done a great deal of combat training in Latvia over the past few years, but Missouri Air National Guard members recently got a chance to give back to the community. Senior Airmen Patrick Evanson and Bruce Jenkins tell us more in this report.
The project was a complete renovation of the Najin orphanage, and when we got here the project was probably at about 55%. So the team did an outstanding job in finishing plastering the walls. There was some drywall, there was a plumbing change order to ensure that the heat worked for the winter. There was guttering and roofing. There was all kinds of work for them to do. And frankly, on the first day, I was wondering if we'd be able to get it all done in a week and a half. They continue to amaze me with their talents and their skills and their work ethic. So they've done an outstanding job to come from about 55% to 100% today in a week and a half. I think the team would agree that this one has really affected their hearts even more because the kids have been here alongside with us. They play soccer with them, they play volleyball with them, and they know that they're going to be living there. And I think it's really touched their hearts, especially when they brought all the gifts for them and they were able to give them to the kids. There wasn't a dry eye in that house.
It's been just really nice to be able to
work around the children and do all this for them. And especially to see them enjoy the things we've done. And just every day whenever, you know, they come up running, every time they see us and they're so happy, it's amazing.
Working with the kids in the orphanage, it's just very heart-filling. It makes you feel real good about yourself, helping out kids that don't have as much as you may have. Just knowing that we're doing this for the kids and seeing how they react to everything we do just makes you feel real great inside they've actually done something.
We, United States Air Force Airmen, will leave here with the greatest memories of friendships made with the Latvian Armed Forces, Sergeant Z and all his crew, the wonderful ladies of Didimbuv Construction Company, and all the Sashas on the site that taught us a lot about the Latvian way of construction.
Divots is a 24/7 operation that provides a timely, accurate, and reliable connection between the media and the military serving worldwide. Through a network of over 200 portable satellite transmitters around the globe and a distribution hub in Atlanta, Georgia, Divots gives you access to the front lines with live and archived broadcast video, still imagery, and print products. Visit our website at divotshub.net and search through our enormous video and photo library. Register on our website to gain complete access to high-definition content, along with breaking news alerts and webcasts from top military officials. For questions or comments about In the Fight or Divots, you can email us at ondemand@divotshub.net or follow us on Twitter and Facebook. As we close, we feature some of the best photos that Divots has to offer as we listen to Eddie Horst's composition, Pangea. See you next time, In the Fight.